Thank you for joining us for 3Bs on the Law podcast, hosted by Trisha Barita, Camille Canali, and Susan Dawson. Disclaimer, this podcast is for entertainment and informational purposes only, not meant to provide legal advice, and does not create an attorney-client relationship. Also, remember, laws change or they differ by jurisdiction, so this is not a substitute for seeking legal counsel in your jurisdiction on the current law applicable to you.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to 3Bs on the Law. I'm Camille Canali, the California B.
And I'm Susan Dawson, the Illinois and Wisconsin B.
And we thought today, because Thanksgiving's coming up, we talk a little bit about employee morale and kind of the forgotten holiday, Thanksgiving. A lot of people worry about what they're going to do over the December holidays, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, etc. But a lot of people don't really think about what to do with their employees over Thanksgiving. And so we wanted to talk about some great ways to kind of kick off the holiday season. And Susan, you had one of the best ideas I've heard in a long time, the thank you wall. So why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, the thank you wall. So, Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. And every year I walk into, the local Target or grocery store or what have you on November 1st and think, when did it become Christmas? Right? Right? Like Halloween literally was yesterday and now it's Christmas. So Thanksgiving gets forgotten every year. And what's really unique about Thanksgiving is that it's really about being thankful and celebrating family. And there aren't, any of the religious components or anything related to that. So you can really, as an employer, as a business, you can really play up the thank you and gratitude and use it as an opportunity to give thanks to your employees. And so one idea is a thank you wall where employees can post, they can put up Post-its or write notes or whatever on the wall talking about all the things that they're thankful for. And it might be things in their personal life, or it might be things about coworkers and things about the office. And it can be a really neat way for people in the office to get the idea to remind themselves to be thankful of each other and the ways that they support each other. And it can really turn into an interesting, positive experience. So I think it's kind of interesting to take a wall and you need some people to get it going and see where it goes from there. And then maybe take it as an opportunity to read it at a staff meeting or acknowledge any new thank yous that went up or anything along those lines to make sure everyone gets all of the acclimates coming at them.
Yeah, I think it's a great time to remind not only yourself, but your employees that you can't get the job done without them. I think it's really key. Obviously, right. Food is a big deal at Thanksgiving. I'm a huge fan of the candy corn. That's why I love Thanksgiving. Candy corn abounds. But one of the ideas that I've done in the past is a recipe exchange. And so we all, at the beginning of the month kind of exchange our favorite Thanksgiving recipes. And I got to tell you, some of my best recipes I've gotten from coworkers over the years. And so I think it's a great idea to keep that going and try a new recipe each Thanksgiving, as well as some of the more traditional ones. I know my cranberries came from a fellow employee many years ago, and they are like the hit at my Thanksgiving table, and I'm always asked to make them. And so you never know
what that recipe.
You never know what you might get.
Yeah. The thing about Thanksgiving is everyone has that tried and true, right? Recipe that it isn't Thanksgiving without it. So yeah, that's interesting to see if everyone brings in kind of that one hit that is everyone loves. And you try something new. But you also, I love the recipe exchange, but you also, bouncing back to the thank you wall idea, you mentioned another great idea, which is handwritten thank you notes to your employees. I love that idea.
Yep, it's great. It shows that you appreciate them. In the day of email, handwritten notes go a long way. It tells that you've really thought about the person and that they truly are meaningful to you, both at work and in your personal life.
Yep. And so rarely do people get anything handwritten anymore. So instead of just doing that email blast, taking the time to give a handwritten note can mean a lot in today's day and age. Yeah. A lot of businesses, it's very common for businesses to be closed, obviously, on Thanksgiving. Not every office is closed, or most offices are closed, not all businesses, but in a lot are also closed on Friday, and that's very common. But what you also see from time to time, and I thought before we were talking, preparing for this, you brought up a really good point, is businesses that shut down on Wednesday a little early, and they might, if office usually closes at 6, then maybe they close at 4. Or if it usually closes at 5, they close it down at 3. But what about those people on that flex schedule? So you made a really good point about that, Camille.
Well, yeah. So if you have people who start at 7 and a group that starts at 8 and a group that starts at 9, which my office does, we have people starting at different times, is rather than shut the office at a specific time, like 3:00, is we allow people to go 2 hours or 3 hours early. So that way the people who came in early don't have to work their full shift. And the people who come in later get a huge bonus because they get off early, with their full pay, and it's not fair. So to make it fair, we tend to let everybody go, 2 or 3 hours early off their shift, as opposed to shutting down at a specific time to make it fair to all employees. That's one of the things you really do have to think about when you're closing down early, is whether you're being fair to everyone.
Well, and fairness, I agree, fairness, but it's also, what was the point of closing down early? The point was to recognize employees are working hard and there's a holiday, and to give them that treat of a little extra time. And yet, if the employee normally worked 7 to 3 and shut down the office at 3, that particular employee didn't get that reward, that acknowledgement, that extra time. So, I mean, I agree that it's about fairness, but it's also about making sure that everyone is reaping the reward or the benefit of the shutdown. And I thought that was a really good point, because a lot of places you might have a part-time employee that always ends at 3 or always ends at 2, and they're not really getting that benefit. And as somebody who cooks Thanksgiving and hosts Thanksgiving every year, I can tell you Wednesday night is certainly, if I'm leaving work early, I'm certainly not going home to kick my feet up. I'm cooking.
Yeah, in California, we let them leave early, really, because we know they're going to spend 4 or 5 hours sitting in traffic to get home, because I can't, it's a little exaggerated, but honestly, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving traditionally is the worst traffic day in Los Angeles every year. I have spent over 4 hours on the freeway once trying to get to the airport
Oh
the day
my
before
goodness.
Thanksgiving.
Wow.
So not only is it a reward for the employees, but it's also, traffic is so bad, it here is a bit of a benefit that way as well.
Yeah.
And I know one of the things that you had brought up is giving employees turkeys.
Yes. So
I thought it was really funny, because I see my neighbor, in California, it doesn't get cold enough. So every year I see my neighbor uses his seat warmers to defrost the turkey in the front seat. That's what we use them for here in California, apparently.
It cracks me up.
But Susan, I know you were talking about perhaps rethinking the day before turkey gift.
Right. It came from my husband worked for a company, and for years and years and years and years, it was lovely. They had a lot of employees, and they gave all their employees a turkey. And that's a lovely idea. It really and truly was a great idea. But he would come home Wednesday at 5:00 with a frozen turkey, which did me no good at all. Because it's frozen. And the only way to properly defrost would make me have to stay up all night and properly defrost that turkey so that it was safe to eat the next day. So I thought, if they could just give the turkey on Monday, even Tuesday, right? Give me a little bit more time to defrost the turkey. Without fail, we ended up eating that turkey in the spring or the summer every year, because I already had to buy the turkey in advance. I needed a certain weight. Most, people who don't cook the Thanksgiving dinner maybe don't think about, I need to know how big of a turkey I'm going to have, and it has to be defrosted to be properly done. So that's one of those situations where it's a really nice thought, but it falls a little flat and doesn't really come across as the benefit and perk as it should, because it really isn't leading to to help out on that Thanksgiving Day. Now, another thing to think about is, instead of giving each employee a turkey, you could donate a turkey to a homeless shelter on behalf of each employee, right?
I think that's a great idea. Or a food bank.
Or a food bank. You do something like that for every, and that's in your personal note that's on their desk or what have you. In your honor, we donated this food. I mean, food costs are on the rise for everybody. And while a lot of employees are making more money because they're demanding more money, there's a lot of individuals that aren't reaping that benefit, and all they're seeing is increased cost at the grocery store. So that can be a way to show that you're really caring about the community and giving back, and that you're donating it not on behalf of the company, but in the name of the employee. Really shows that it's a gift. It's not done for company branding or benefit. It's really genuinely a considerate thing to do for your employees, to make that donation. So that's an interesting thing to do. I know a lot of companies have done in the past. I don't hear about it as much anymore, about getting together and volunteering together. Maybe getting a bunch of people together to go volunteer at your local homeless shelter to serve Thanksgiving. And that can be a great bonding experience, but it can also raise some issues for employers, right, Camille?
It can, and you have to be careful, because whether that becomes paid or not, it truly has to be volunteer time, or you may end up owing some wages. And so can be a bit of a sticky situation that a lot of employers just don't want to deal with. And so they encourage volunteer work, but don't necessarily have it done in company time, I guess, for lack of a better description.
Right. And there's just a lot of ways that you can really do bonding. One of the things I read is have a pumpkin bowling contest on Wednesday before. There's ways to bond with your coworkers and your employees in different ways that could be unique and fun and really bring everybody together without bringing the some of those concerns up that where the intent really falls flat or brings the business into some risk. So with that, I think we've talked about my favorite holiday, and we really, I hope now businesses have some ideas to recognize and acknowledge Thanksgiving and not go straight to all the other holidays that are out there, skipping straight over Thanksgiving. So with that, join us next time on 3Bs on the Law.
Thank you for joining us on today's podcast of 3Bs on the Law. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our podcast. We also welcome any comments. If you'd like to get in touch with us or suggest a future topic, you can email us at 3THREEBsonthelaw@gmail.com. And because we're lawyers, we need to remind you that this podcast is not meant to provide you with legal advice and does not create an attorney-client relationship. Thank you again for joining us, and have a great day.